Yeah, so my last, obviously, this has been become a bit of a hot topic in the NFL at the moment. After 20, a little bit appears that after over 23 years, Bill Belichick might very well be out of the New England Patriots after six Super Bowl wins. Easily the most successful coach of, certainly in the post 2000 era. He's out, and I guess I did a video on pros and cons for Bill staying and leaving. And I also did a little segment on who might replace him. But I thought I would sort of elaborate here, just because it seems to be getting hits on my channel. And yeah, I guess having done a little bit more research on, who could very well be taking over Big Bill at the Patriots. So the number one favorite at the moment with the bookmakers, if they are to believe, is the current linebacker coach Jared Mayo. Mayo, of course, is very well known with Patriots fans, certainly with the organization. Being a former player himself, he's won a couple of Super Bowls, and yeah, so a Patriots legend there. And look, I guess not a lot is particularly known outside the Patriots, and even Patriots fans might not really fully understand what he does. And I guess at the same time, he's also really just a linebacker coach. So it's so you don't so his scope is a bit limited. Having said that, the word is that Mayo is has the potential to be a future head coach. And I guess when if Bill if Bill was to leave, I mean, and say Mayo was to get the job, he can pretty much do whatever he wants. And so what we're seeing now is not necessarily a reflection of what could happen if Mayo was to be head coach of the Patriots. But obviously, again, it would be a big gamble because of his lack of inexperience. Having said that, I guess maybe it is he would be perfect if the Patriots were looking at pretty much making a fresh start while leaving some links to the past. And yeah, so I think so that kind of would explain why perhaps he's rated so highly with the bookmakers. Look, my personal favorite would have been Mike Vrabel. Until this season, I think. Look, I think he's pretty much Look, he's done a superb job at the Titans ever since he took over, of course, and then we had that 2019 AFC wildcard game where he absolutely outsmarted Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Look, I think maybe perhaps taking on a GM role may have hurt him a little bit. Although, it's not necessarily his fault. I think there's been a couple of things going on with the Titans backroom staff losing AJ Brown to the Eagles so cheaply. And yeah, but I think look, because of the situation, I mean, the Titans will not won't give up Mike Vrabel without a fight and some form of decent compensation. And I doubt they would take Bill Belichick, to be honest, in a trade. So I mean, it'll have to come down. Will Bill Belichick just retire? Or so I think the complexities around Vrabel coming to the Patriots, would be just too much. That he won't necessarily, he is probably why he won't be the head coach. But having said that, Robert Kraft has a lot of say in the NFL, and well, I mean, would Vrabel say no to returning to the club that he had so much success with? I guess only time will tell. So I guess now I did mention Josh McDaniels, and this was sort of a bit more of a hot take thingy, but I think there is a bit more credibility than you think to Josh McDaniels becoming the next Patriots head coach. Look, I guess before his latest spell with the Raiders, Josh McDaniels was sort of always deemed to be the heir apparent to Bill Belichick, and I guess look, his you put aside what he did with the Broncos and the Raiders, Josh McDaniels is one of the greatest minds and drew up some of the greatest offensive plays. He was responsible for that that New England Patriots team that nearly went perfect back in 2007, helping draw up those great offensive plays involving Brady, Welker, and Moss. And look, while he's not very good at play calling, as evident with his time at the Broncos and Raiders, but he's clearly got a good football mind there. And I wonder if also, the Broncos, Raiders do have different cultures compared to the Patriots. And you kind of felt, it's clear McDaniels wants to take full control of the club, and maybe that just, he was trying to transform the Broncos, Raiders into the Patriots, into a Patriots clone, respectively. And, maybe that just rubbed the organization up the wrong way and the fans. Because, let's say the Broncos and Raiders, completely different outfits. The Raiders with Davis family, the Broncos with Walmart there. So, but I guess, I'm taking another example of going outside of sports. I'm thinking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. Look, but I guess before Solskjaer was picked, his record was hardly warranted him being the next Manchester United manager, simply compared to the person he replaced, Jose Mourinho, or, going back, Louis van Gaal. What did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do before he took the Manchester United job? He was, he was manager at Cardiff, Molde. Look, Norwegian league, he did well there, but, it's the Norwegian league. And Cardiff City, well, I think there were a couple of issues there, but, he didn't quite keep them up. So there was not really any reason to, it was not on that record alone, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shouldn't have been Manchester United manager, even on an interim basis, but he did. And he ultimately turned out to be a good call at the start, because he knew the Manchester United culture, and evidently you could see the change in the style of football they play. He knew that Manchester United and the players they had, they couldn't play the Mourinho style football. And I think, wasn't it that game against Cardiff, I believe, with his first game where they just came out of the blocks. And I guess my point is, it's not necessarily you can't just take their CV alone. I think knowledge of the culture is also apparent. And I guess Solskjaer knew Manchester United, and I'm saying McDaniels knows, having been at the Patriots for much of his NFL coaching career, he better than anyone else knows how the Patriots function and how the culture works. And I don't think it'll necessarily be just a carryover, continue where leave off where Belichick finished. I think, he would implement some of the ideas. And I think Kraft may get, understand his weaknesses, and perhaps, even McDaniels may be a bit too cocky to acknowledge those weaknesses. I think maybe, certainly not give him the GM role. I think whoever Kraft may very well say, go and build the personnel around McDaniels, so that McDaniels can do sort of focus on the HC. And then obviously you've got Bill O'Brien as offense. Maybe Josh McDaniels have the input. Jared Mayo could step into the defense coach role. So look, so they're not necessarily a hot take, but I wouldn't be surprised, and this video might very well age pretty well. And I mentioned, of course, Bill O'Brien, who, of course, is the other Patriots, other contender who has got HC experience. Of course, he was HC at the Houston Texans. Did a really, really good job. And I feel his downfall is probably the fact that he became GM and took on too much there. But I thought with O'Brien, he was sort of building something really nice at the Texans. And then ultimately, I think, as it transpires, I think with Deshaun Watson and all that, it, kind of just went to custard. But Bill O'Brien is certainly one of the, I think Bill O'Brien would make a great choice for the Patriots. And I think his record probably has a bit more credence to it than maybe Josh McDaniels and the other contenders. And again, I guess, you can't look at past records. So, I mean, Bill O'Brien. But having said that, I guess the offense hasn't quite performed as well. Maybe whether that's down to Mac Jones or not, we shall see. Maybe the next couple of games we'll see how he does with Bailey Zappi. and that will be a good audition for Bill O'Brien for the HC role. So yeah, those are a couple of contenders. There's obviously heaps of others, but which I'll briefly mention here with Eric Bieniemy, Ben Johnson, current Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh, Brian Johnson, Cliff Kingsbury, who actually won a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots as a backup QB, Dan Quinn, Brian Flores, Zach Robinson. Yes, but personally, I think I doubt Jim Harbaugh will come in. Please keep Cliff Kingsbury away from the Patriots. Dan Quinn, I think he's going to stick out of the Cowboys and replace Mike McCarthy. Brian Flores, I don't think that. Given the controversies, he's already put in a lawsuit against the Dolphins for over allegedly claiming unfair dismissal. So I doubt he'll be the next Patriots head coach with that shadow in mind. So yeah, look, it's all speculation at this point, but yeah, obviously speculation is what drives YouTube most of the time. So yeah, look, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Who, if Bill Belichick was to go, who should be the next head coach of the New England Patriots? Should they go for a completely clean slate, or should they just use leftovers from the glory days of the pre-2020 years? If you like this video, feel free to like, and don't forget to subscribe as usual.